Hi, if you're interested in illustration or children's illustration, graphic novels, storytelling with pictures, then you're in the right place. Okay, it's in this video I'll show my process of illustration, and it's for a double-page children's book which I'm currently writing. And this video, by the way, is a sequel to a drawing video on the same subject. I'll link it at the end. If you like it, could you give it a thumbs up? Because it really helps. Okay. So if you're really interested in learning more about character design or facial expressions and body language, then watch till the end, where I show an outstanding resource for you. It's one of the best books I ever discovered, really, for this kind of thing. So I'm Michael Coxon, and have you ever felt frustrated when you went to art classes and the teacher wasn't helpful enough? Or maybe they didn't know enough. So I know how you feel. So I actually became a high school and college art teacher. And I do want to help. I'd like to help you as much as I can. So through this video, I'll give tips on persevering with watercolor. So the thing is with watercolor, it's a tricky medium, but you can get some outstanding results if you persevere, because there's always a sort of a muddy phase that we go through. It's all muddled up, and as you can see here, I'm still searching around. My first tip with watercolor, I'm not an expert on watercolor, but I know about it, of course. But you never go in too dark right from the start if you keep it light. So the background color, for example, the color on the pigs, keep them very, very light. You can always come back and do it a little bit darker, but in the first stage, if you go in too strong, you haven't got much room to play. Whereas with oil painting, which I know a bit more about, I guess oil painting is it's so easy to change things if you get a better idea. The same with acrylics. You can change the whole character of the painting. You can take things out and add things that you hadn't intended, because halfway through the painting you get an idea, which I've had for this picture. I've had this little guy standing up and stretching back, and I've had the dog standing on his hind legs. I've tried everything, but I like this particular design. I always divide the picture into thirds, as it's well, in the double page, of course, it's sixths across. It's a good composition device, and that the grid that you can't see it in this picture, it's in the softest blue, but that grid is a very helpful device for composition and placement. And the other thing, of course, is that we can draw up. Now, this is not the completed, finished picture. This is just a color study, just working out what I can do with it. It's not necessary to try to do the finished product straight away. You need to really work, do several studies. Now, with double or single page, I use a template which is divided into sixths or thirds, and you can draw even the small template, which would be say 10 by 8, or in the case of a double, a 10 by 16 centimeter, and you can draw several of these on just an ordinary A4 sheet of paper, a manga paper I often use. It's 135 GSM, so it's quite a reasonable sort of paper. This is an illustration board that I'm using here. I've done several of these designs. They're varied, but this is the one I've settled on. So with it, I'm working here 15 by 24 centimeters, and that's a good size to start working. The finished product would be on possibly watercolor paper if I use watercolor, or it can be on illustration board if I use oil. So the finished job would take at least 3 or 4 hours of actual work. Preparation and preliminary studies take a lot longer, of course, but if you're designing a children's book or some kind of graphic novel, you really have to do it again and again. It's not good practice to just try and get it once off. Yes, so here I'm coming in with a much darker background. As I mentioned earlier, with watercolor, it's not a good idea to start dark. You can build up to it. Now I'm starting to see that if I use this dark background and the water there a lot darker, it makes the pigs pop a bit. That's good practice. So one of the beauties of watercolor too is that you've got various techniques which you can use, and one of the techniques I used earlier in this picture was to just wet the page, or wet the section that you want to put the paint down on. So if I wet the page, I can put paint on top of that water, and it blends beautifully. As you can see also, the pig on the left, I haven't completed him. I'm still trying to decide from a design point of view whether I should do it as it is, focusing on the pigs on the right, because we turn the page that way. So I'm thinking that that's a good design principle. So we're coming up to something that I told you in the earlier part of this video that you would get a lot out of if you're interested in this sort of thing. But if I could ask you to subscribe to this channel and leave a comment if you could. I'll be doing many of these videos, and I'd like to know what you guys would like me to do. I can focus on anything. I've been teaching for ages, and if it's whatever you'd like, I'll be happy to do it. So please like and subscribe. So we're coming up to a wonderful book, and I'd just like you to have a look. It's Making Comics by Scott McCloud. It's an outstanding book, and I'd like to show you this is an outstanding resource for you. It's chapter 1 is writing with pictures, and it's full of depth and quality of information. The book has got wonderful rich detail for storytellers, and this is a good page. This is well, I'll zoom in on this. He talks about how no matter how chaotic a scene might be, the the guy is looking at what he'd like to think about, and that's the ice cream. So he's very funny, but he's extremely knowledgeable. And this is a really good point too. The end of each chapter, we've got notes with exercises that you can do, um, and it's a fantastic summary of his work. So this part here, the chapter 2, is about character design, etc. So I hope you got something out of this video, and I'd really like to thank you very much for watching. It's it's really, I do recommend this book. That's all I can say. Thank you so much.